Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses for your testimony today. I want to address my first question to Ms. Huck and Ms. Goldberg to further delve into the impact on military families. So I represent Fort Drum, where the military resale benefit is such an important fabric of the military community. You, Ms. Goldberg, talked about very articulately that the goal should not be maximizing revenue. The benefit are the savings for our military families. What are the secondary and tertiary effects that weren't included in the BCG report or weren't included in the panel today of the impact of this proposed reorganization?
Thank you for your question. We talked about it a little bit in our statement for the record along with my testimony. The interlocking mechanism of the commissary and the exchange is a very fine-tuned harmonic relationship. The commissary brings foot traffic to the exchange. The exchange is another gathering place for people that operates on with a profit margin that provides dividends to morale, welfare, and recreation activities on the installation. And those could fund a variety of programs, and it's really critical to providing extra support and quality of life programs to military families. When you start to take that apart and they lose faith in the commissary benefit, they might not go to the exchange. That reduces the dividends, that reduces the programs. All of a sudden, military families may feel that though there really aren't support programs for them anymore, or that those programs are not important or valued by the Department of Defense or their community. And that really is a morale, it's detrimental to morale and readiness, and that is not a place I think that we want to go.
Ms. Huck?
I would add that the system is very interdependent in the sense that the large commissaries with a lot of volume help support economies of scale that support commissaries overseas and in remote locations here in the United States. And so our concern is that any change to the system that makes families less likely to use the commissaries in these locations, such as here in the National Capital Region, will lead to less revenue available to support those commissaries in locations where families not only rely on the savings, but rely on the physical aspect of the store on the installation. There are many locations, even here in the United States and certainly overseas, where families have few shopping options and certainly few affordable shopping options. And so we are very concerned about how any change to the commissary system will affect those families who are in locations where the physical presence of the store is critical to their well-being.
Thank you. I also wanted to just note that I think one of the most significant statements that has been made from the panel is what Ms. Goldberg said, that these savings account for a 2% to a 9% pay raise for our military families. That is significant in these challenging economic times. I want to turn to Mr. Gordy and Mr. Nixon. BCG, obviously one of their proposals was a private label, and Ms. Huck pointed out the fact that DECA does not have the experience, the expertise, let alone the logistics capabilities. Can you elaborate on that and the challenges that would provide and the logistical issues that we would have to overcome to make that transition?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, just to kind of set the playing field, DECA did not introduce private label, not because it didn't want to. Prior to last year's change in the law, there was a brand name exception to the Competition and Contracting Act. And so if you bought brand name products directly from a manufacturer, you didn't have to compete each order. But it developed into developed into the signature of the commissary system was brand name, and those brand names were found everywhere in the world that you went. Private label is a company developed and supported brand, and we talked about they don't have the expertise to develop their own private label. DECA's not big enough to develop a private label. They just it wouldn't be cost effective. They wouldn't be able to manage the quality, so they will buy someone else's private label and put it in the store. But as a house brand, then they must price it. They must promote it. They must position it, and it's artificial positioning. It doesn't, when the day it's put in the store, it doesn't have customer preference. They're going to give it artificial customer preference because they want to sell it because they're making money on it. And that's what primarily what private label does in the private sector. So yes, you can get from here to there. It's eyes wide open. Make sure we understand what's going on when we move into this environment, and what actually is taking place is they're putting a brand in with artificial preference to mark it up to make money.
Thank you. My time has expired.